Well, welcome everybody to inks, chalks, pens, and all other kinds of coloring agents. Some of you may have joined us for this session a couple of weeks ago when all you could do was hear me talking. We didn't have any video. We got a late start, so we're rerunning it just because of all the technical difficulties. We did post an older recorded version of it on the website, so you may have been able to watch that as well. But we're going to go through it again tonight, and then next week we'll finish up this series with getting ready for a cropper class. So welcome everybody, and let's jump right in with this week's winner, Susie Nybrug or Nybrugi. Just a classic funny post that popped up on Facebook. So if you didn't read it, it just was pretty funny about Sarah helping Susie get her room organized. So great job, ladies. Glad to hear that you've been working so hard, and Susie is this week's winner of a $25 gift certificate, and she's looking for volunteers to come and help her work with her room. So a pretty creative post there. I guess I should read it. I know some of you only listen, you don't actually look at the screen. So her post says, update on Sarah E. helping me to Tiffanize my room. She didn't have the strength to run away, laying down in the corner of the room whimpering, we need more help. She has diagnosed me as a certified Gatalotta. I asked her how long she thought it would take to finish my room in a Tiffany way. How many hours a day? I lied and said 4 hours a day. She grinned an evil grin and said, unless you get lots of help, at least a year. So help! We worked all day. So we have whittled a couple days off the year. Sarah thinks I will be done by National Scrapbooking Day next year. So I hope you'll stay in the group, Susie, and post as you move forward, but we want to know by National Scrapbook Day next year if you're all squared away. All right, let's get going then. So a great tip from Jenny H. This is from a previous participant who says, set yourself up for success by setting up a station that so you can easily put new products away. So all the things that we've talked about in the last 6 webinars and the things that you need from scrap paper and ink pads, glue, extra scrap rack sheets if you're using a scrap rack, or Ziploc bags or whatever you need all in one place, so that when you do bring new products home, you know exactly where to go to get the supplies you need to either catalog them or put them in a page or a Ziploc bag or whatever you're using and actually put them away into your 4-section system. So like with so many of the things we've talked about during this webinar session, the easier you make it for yourself to stay on track and be successful, the easier it will be to actually stay on track. Because if it's easy, you'll do it, and if it's difficult, it gets left behind. So, excuse me. Our goal for this webinar is to have a quick, easy access to your inks, chalks, pens, and other coloring agents, and to be able to purchase new products without duplicating what you already own. And I don't know if Claudia Thibodeau is on with us today, but Claudia lives in the Tacoma area, stopped by the office today to pick some stuff up, so it was nice to see her. But she was telling me how easy it was to shop with her list, and she was able to buy things that she didn't already own, or she wasn't duplicating things. So it does make it really easy. It's a really easy practical application what we're going to go through today. So how will you store your items? The challenges with storage is that everything's different sizes and shapes, and there's all kinds of variety of items, different kinds of inks, different kinds of chalks. And there's a lot of different options, baskets, cases, towers. Now, I support things that are easy to access like baskets and lids, things that you can have on a shelf or in a cabinet and then bring to your workspace as you need them and then put them right back as you're done. So if you've taken the moment to go through the little photo tour of my scrapbook room at the warehouse, that's one of the things I really focus on. Putting things into containers, if you have to, that are easy to get off your shelf and bring to the work table, and then easy to put back, so that it's easy. Like I said, if it's easy, you'll do it, and if it's not, they'll just get stacked up. So one of the things you're going to do to get prepped up is to gather all your products together, and sort them by brand and product type, and we're going to give each of them a number. And I'm going to go through all of these steps as we get a little bit further in. This is the big picture. Now, that's if you're a Got a Little. If you're a Got a Lot, you're going to want to give your products a manufacturer code as well. So as an example, quick quotes might be labeled QQ. And that way, you can, as you're making your catalog sheets that we're going to talk about, you can group all those quick quotes products together so that if you're shopping either online or at Michael's or wherever you are, your local scrapbook store, you can know exactly what you have by what manufacturer. It makes it really easy. So here's some examples of what I was talking about, and you can see these are just a bunch of different, chalks and inks. And so I have in the upper left-hand corner, I have individual little boxes of chalk, and I've just numbered the edge of them with a Sharpie. And then I have collections of chalks, like this deluxe chalk set, and you can see under the word deluxe chalk that says bright set. So those are going to be labeled B for bright, but all I did was write a number on top of the lid of the box, and that represents the chalk color that's underneath it. And then here I've got just a series of inks that are just numbered starting with 100. I don't know why I start with 100. For some reason, that's always how I do it in like individual containers. Maybe it leaves me room, 99 spaces before that. So once you get everything brought together and numbered, then we're going to create some catalog sheets. So we've got our products grouped together by type. We're going to record the number and the manufacturer name, chalks, inks, pens, and even colored pencils by color. So when you're doing this, you may want to create 2 identical sheets so that you have one that's just all stays together in your in the notebook. So when you do go to the store, you can take that notebook with you and you know exactly what colors of products you've got. Now, I'd really recommend, I know some people have done this in like journal type books where the pages are permanent, and it's tempting to do that, especially because journal type books are so cute. But remember, if those pages are permanent, if you run out of space in red, now you have to start another red section somewhere else. You can't add pages in. So if you're going to do one to take with you, I would really recommend that you do it as in a 3-ring binder as well, so you can incorporate new products or new colors into the right place. So, and then the second one you would actually put in your rainbow section. So if I'm working on something and I go to my red section, I'm going to see this chart of reds right there in the red section. So then I might go, oh yeah, I could use that ink, or that brick red would be perfect for this page that I'm working on. What can I do with that, or how could I use that? So it's just going to pop up for you in that color group where you need it. So here's just some close-ups. Now remember I said that B brights, right? So that where it says B7, B8, those are in the brights box. Then I also have a box of chalks that's called neutrals, and those are the ones N5 and 6. And so just a way of really defining what box those chalks are in. So you want to make sure as you're numbering and coding things that it's going to be easy for you to remember, and you're going to know exactly where to go for those things. So you can either use, like I have, B is for brights and N is for neutrals, or you can use things like down at the bottom, QQ equals quick quotes, just so you're going to be able to find that exact product that you need. Now, if you like a particular manufacturer, or if you have a lot of products from a particular manufacturer, you may also want to create a manufacturer sheet. And this is especially valuable for particular brands of inks or chalk that you love, so quick quotes, or pens like Copic markers if you love Copic or another brand, to have a sheet, and something like Stickles, to have a sheet with all of those things on there. And that way you can actually shop by brand with your sheet rather than looking through each color section. So if you're got a lot, I would strongly recommend doing some brand cataloging as well. So, and then once you have the cataloging part done, then you're ready to store your products. And those are just going to be stored by type. So you can see I have my different chalks here. Again, they're just in an open basket. And this basket just goes up on the shelf. And when I need chalk, I can just pull it off, and I can go to exactly the color that I need. And you can see my brights and neutrals. I've just, again, written with the Sharpie right on the edge of the box, bright and neutral, so I know exactly what box to pull out. It just makes it really simple. I can't stress enough how much easier it is to use products that are in open containers. If you put something inside something, and then you put a lid on it, and then you put that thing with a lid on it on a shelf or on a cupboard, and you close the door in a drawer below something else, it makes it really difficult to get to. So the easier you can make it to take it off the shelf and bring it to your workspace, and the easier to put it away, the better off you're going to be. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me say that, but so often I work with people who get caught up in this cute containerization, and they put their things so far away that it's hard to find them, and it's a pain in the neck to pull them out. And if your goal is really to scrap more, then, I clicked my thing without knowing how. Then you want to make it easy. So again, chalks, inks and chalks, open baskets, same kind of basket. And these are fun, these fun little baskets are easy because you can just, like I did, I threaded that little label through. Easy to reuse or change or whatever as things go. But even like my bottled inks, they're just numbered and in that basket. So if you have a lot of baskets too, so if you had 3 ink baskets on your little ink chart or color chart, you could put, label the basket 1, 2, 3, and you could include that as well. So if you have a lot of inks or a lot of chalks or whatever, you might need to do like, ink basket 1 or ink basket 2 or whatever it is. It's even that much easier to find the product that you're looking for. Now, if you're got a little and you just have a few things in each color, you can put all those things just into a color basket. So here's an example of reds with pens and pencils and chalks and inks and liquid ink. So it's all together in one place. If you need something red, you can grab that out. So especially if you're working on a monochromatic page where you might need different levels of red or green or whatever, it's easy to pull that and then use a bunch of those colors in that basket pretty simply and easily. This works great if you're more of a got a little. If you're got a lot, you might have multiple baskets of red, and that would kind of defeat the purpose of doing it. And here's an example of a Stickles Kellogg page, and this was by Lil Dexter, who's an alumnus. And so she printed this out on Excel, and then she just put one dark black column, and then drew the stickles across both the black and the white. And this will give you a good idea of what those inks or chalks, or in this case stickles, are going to look like on dark paper and on light paper. Now, I know there's been a lot of great posts. As a matter of fact, I copied a couple of the pictures that were on the challenge, the Facebook challenge group, of just people who've done just amazing work with their colors. And so in the next, the summer challenge, I'm going to incorporate some other ideas like this. But if you do come up with a great idea and you don't mind sharing it with us on the Facebook group, it's great for me because in the future webinars, I can share your ideas with other people. Everybody has sort of some different sort of creative perspectives, so these kind of things are great. And this one is from one of the first webinar challenges that we did. So in terms of storage and organization for things like stickles, we have the Stickles Garden Store, which holds 10, each little tray holds 10 bottles. I'm pretty sure they sold out over the weekend. So for those of you who took advantage of National Scrapbook Day's free shipping sale, congratulations to all of you. It was a very successful sale, and we've sold out of many of the items that were on the website. Now, this particular one I know we're sold out of, but we should probably have back in stock by the end of the week, actually. So the Stickles Sort and Store is a great way to store that. There's also what we call the Marker Manager, which is going to hold 24 markers. Now, if you haven't seen this on the website, I don't think there's a video about it, but I think there's a lot of pictures. It comes with some little Velcro dots. And I actually stuck mine in a couple of places. Like, I stuck it under a shelf that's right next to my workspace, and then I stuck it down the side of a shelf also. So, and the nice thing about it is that if you're going to go somewhere, you want to move it or whatever, because it's just on Velcro, you can just pop it off the side of the shelf or out from underneath the shelf and take it with you when you go, or move it around when you're using it. So it's a pretty cool tool as well. I think, look, I'm telling you about all these great things. I think we're sold out of them. Again, they'll be back in stock by the end of the week, though. Now, as you're putting your things together, most manufacturers somewhere on their website are going to have a template of all the colors of particular products that they make. So before you sort of go to great lengths to create something, the manufacturer's website might have it, and somebody on the Facebook group probably has already done it or copied it from the manufacturer website. So I'd really recommend you going into the docs pages on the manufacturer's website, on the Facebook group website, and see if the brand of product that you like to use, if there's already a color chart there. And I know the color charts are set up a lot of times so they have an example of the color and then like an empty little box so you can check it off, or so that you can color in there with your marker or whatever you have so that you know exactly what you've got. So especially companies like Sukaneko and Copic Marker, they're going to have those lists already done for you. But definitely check the Facebook group. So this week's challenge is to decide on and purchase a storage tool if you don't already have one, so baskets, clamshells, towers. Now, you may have emptied clear plastic shoe boxes or some other kind of basket or drawer or some other space as you're going through the challenge, and it might work great for what you have. So before you run out and buy something new, you might take a look around at the things that you've emptied out as you've been getting organized. Then you want to gather all of your coloring agents together by type and brand. Create the catalog sheets by color, and if you're got a lot, create those catalog sheets by manufacturer as well, so that you have something that you can easily reference. Oops, I've gone too far. So that concludes this week's webinar. It's kind of a quick one, I guess. I'm going to open up the question panel, so anybody that has questions about this or something else, I'm happy to answer those now. I put my glasses on there to read that. So let's see. Let me get back to the top, and we'll start from where we left off. Let's see. Janet says, hi, Tiffany. Thanks so much for the webinar. I'm really enjoying them. I finally got all of my stamps organized. Yay! And she said, yay. And I'm saying yay to you too, Janet. Congratulations. And she says it's so much easier to find them. I'm so glad. And you'll find that you use them so much more easy. If it's easy, we do it. It's just so simple. I mean, getting there might not be easy, but. Janet says, I keep losing sound. I don't know if anybody else is losing sound. I hope not. I don't have any other comments about that, but I hope it tuned in a little bit better for you, Janet. Sandra Lewis says, how do you keep track of the open storage baskets? I don't have enough shelf space in my tiny craft area, Sandra. So I put mine are just on a shelf that I can, well, I have two actually. I have two different things. I have these little flower buckets in a flower cart that have things in them, and those are really easy to pull off the cart. And then I have the baskets also on the shelf. And I actually have some hanging baskets that I bought from IKEA that like hang under my desk, which provided some extra space. So I think it's more an issue of how much space you have and how accessible you want those things to be. So you might, some baskets stack up like crisscross, and so you really can compact them down. Now, the other thing that we talked about with stamps is using those clear clamshells, like that Stampin' Up! Comes in. Well, you can buy those clear clamshell packages at Michael's or Joann, and so that might be the best option for you because you can put your color, your inks or chalks or whatever in those clear clamshells and label the side of them and then stand them up, and you can compact them down really into a small amount of space and really densely. So if space is an issue for you, I would definitely say to look at those clamshell packages. And I think they're relatively inexpensive, just a couple of dollars a piece at Michael's or Joann. So try to pause and take a drink there. So hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, Sandra, please post again, and I will try to do a better job. Joanna says, big lots and dollar stores are a great inexpensive source to find open plastic baskets. Absolutely. Those little baskets that I was using are an easy two for a dollar store item, and they work great. So, and they come in all kinds of fun colors. Twyla says, I was told one time to store ink pads upside down to keep the pad inked up. Is that true? Twyla, I think it depends. And we talked about this in the last one. Yes, it's true. To some degree, there have been so many advances in things that some of the stuff that we always did in the past because the quality of the product or the quality of the package wasn't quite as good aren't necessarily necessary now. The best thing to do is to check manufacturers' websites for particular brands because they'll recommend exactly the best way to store that particular brand. Some manufacturers don't want your ink stored upside down because all the ink then pours to the top of the pad, so when you try to stamp with it, it's really wet. And some manufacturers say, yes, store it upside down. So I would defer to the manufacturer of your products for that. Excuse me. Desiree says, well, reorganizing my craft room, I did find a lot of things I didn't know I had because I had them in closed containers. And it's so true. If you can't see it, remember that, back to those two questions that you have to rely on your brain for. One, do I have it? And two, where did I put it? So if your brain fails the first question and answers no, then you don't even look for it. So making things visible is really, really important. It says it's good now. Oh, good. I'm glad. The sound is back for Janet. Hi, Linda. Diane says, what do you mean by catalog sheets by color? I'm coming in late. Well, let me just flip back here really quickly for Diane. And so we're going to make catalog sheets, or what you're going to make catalog sheets this week, by color for each of your products, so that you can put those colored catalog sheets right into your rainbow section. You might actually make 2 catalog sheets, Diane. One for your rainbow section, and one if you're a got-a-lot and you have lots of stuff, you might want to make a separate catalog so that you can shop, whether that's online or physically going shopping, with your color catalog with you so that you don't buy duplicates of color things that you already own. So that's what your catalog sheet is going to look like. Everything that's red, whether it's an ink, a chalk, a pen, a pencil, whatever it is, cataloged on one sheet with something directing you to where those products are. So you can see in this example, B7, that would be my bright chalks number 7, and those are going to be in this collection up here on the this kind of the center picture. It says bright there, and then I have the numbers right there. So I know when I see that color, I say, oh, I want that pinkish red. I know exactly where to go to find it. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Barbara said, does anyone know how to take the stamp off the wood block? You know, Barbara, I just read a post on the Facebook page about that. I can't cut and paste answers from here, but if somebody has a quick answer on how to, best way to remove stamps from a wood block, if you want to post it up, I'll go ahead and read it out when it comes up. Linda says, I got a lot of dies, mostly physics. Is it okay to combine them in the catalog pages with my other dies? Absolutely. You want to keep things together that you're going to use together, and that includes your dies. So you want to have all your Christmas dies together if you can, all your Easter dies together so that you can see them and you can use them. Now, depending on the size and shape of those dies, it might make more sense to use a numbering system like we did with stamps and punches. I think we talked a little bit about the physics dies done too, but you definitely want to have a representation of the die right in the right section for it. So whether it's a theme or a theme A to Z, an alphabet, or a calendar year die. Joanna says, other organization options besides baskets or towers, over-the-door shoe holders work great. A nearby closet can hold a sweater shelf you can attach to the hanger rod, so then it has 5 or 6 shelves on which to store baskets. So yeah, any of those kind of things, if you start to think creatively, like Joanna's mentioned, about things like those shoe bags that hang down from a closet rod, well, now you've just given yourself, 8 little compartments that'll fit a small basket in a pretty narrow space if you've got one. So try to think sort of out of the box, if you will, and creatively, and you might be able to come up with some interesting ways to use that space. Dolly says, I missed the first 4 webinars. Are you going to have this again? Absolutely. The next series is called the Summer Challenge, the Summer Series, and it will start on, it actually starts on May 15th. So we finish this one next Monday, and we start the next one next Tuesday. I think that's how that stacked up. And I will include a link to the sign-up for that one for anybody that wants to jump on. I'm writing my little note here, so bear with me, in the follow-up email from today. And also, when you go to the challenge page on the website, for this challenge, at the very top when it says register now, I think when you click on that register now button, the new registration link is to the summer challenge since this one's almost over. But absolutely feel free to jump in and join us again. Barb says, where do you put the blank chipboard and the doilies and dazzles? So there's actually a post on the website, I think. I'm going to put a little note here about chipboard again. Where you can see how I have my chipboard organized, and I just use like this thing called a tool tower, but I have my chipboard kind of sorted by size in there. Now, specific chipboard for different themes or whatever, that's right in the section where it belongs. Whether it's a a holiday piece of chipboard or a particular theme like baseball or whatever, that's going to be tucked right into my baseball section or my Christmas section or whatever it is. But like chipboard alphabets, right, you just get tons of those chipboard alphabets. And so I have those all in just a big chipboard sorter arranged alphabetically. And so I'll try to post a picture up of that as well. Now, and when you say doilies and dazzles, those are going to just go by color. So whatever color they are, you're going to put them right in that part of your rainbow section. Janet says, when you were talking about the Kellogg sheets, how do you add the new ones? I lost audio on the answer to it. Oh, I was just saying, don't use like a journal that has pages that are permanently into it. You want to make sure that you're using a 3-ring binder, because something like this, you're going to be adding and taking things out all the time. And if you're trying to do it, like I've seen a lot of people create their color catalog, their second one, in a small little book, so it's easy to put into your handbag when you go somewhere. But the problem is, if you fill up all the section you've allotted for red, then you've got to start another red section in another part of the book, and so everything's not together anymore. So try to use a little 3-ring notebook, or one of those tiny, there's those little 4x6 notebooks that hold, I think they're actually designed now to hold index cards, but they have like a little small, I think they actually have 5 folds in them. There's a tiny little ring binder, and that's going to be better if you want to do something small. But you want to put something together that you can move pages around in or add pages as you, unless you think you're not going to buy any more stuff once you get your stuff cataloged. If you think you're not going to buy anything more, then it's not going to matter. But I don't think that's going to happen for most of us. All right, Diane just says thanks. You're welcome, Diane. And Sandra says, thanks, Tiffany. You've answered my question. I think the clamshells may be a really good idea. The clamshells are awesome. Now, talking about the clamshells, I saw some people who had posted their clamshells, their stamps, and they had their stamps in clamshells, and they were all numbered, except they were stacked up. And when you stack them up on top of each other, then when you have to pull something out of the bottom, it's kind of a pain. But if you just turn those stacks over so that you can just pull them straight in and out off the shelf, you might be able to get another shelf above or below. So you could have 2 rows of them. But anytime you're using those clamshells, if you can stand them up on their own so you can pull them straight in and out instead of having to pull them out of the bottom of a stack or the middle of a stack, where it takes 2 hands to pull them out instead of just 1, it'll just be a lot easier if you can stand them up rather than stack them on top of each other. Rebecca, put wood blocks in the microwave a few seconds. It makes it easy to remove. Lakeitha says, place in the microwave for 30 seconds. Melinda says, I don't know what you mean by a clamshell container, and I can't find it on or AC or Hobby Lobby websites. So I know I'm thinking of what area in Joann's. I actually think they're in the scrapbook storage area in Joann's and also in the sewing storage area in Joann's. And it's just a clear plastic box, and it's made out of a lightweight plastic. It's not like a hard plastic like they make the shoe boxes out of. And it has a hinged-on lid that kind of snaps into the body of the box. If you have any Stampin' Up! Stamps, or you know anybody that has Stampin' Up! Stamps, that's what their woodblock stamps come in, is a little it's called a clamshell. So I'm not even sure if they're on the websites. I think Joann sells on their website, but Michael's doesn't. I'll try and look. I'll look and see if I can find them somewhere and send a link from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something. I'll see if I can find them too. They might call them something else, I guess, in the craft world. Maybe they have a special craft world name that I just don't know about. Nancy says, is there a way to find out if I have signed up for the next webinar series? I think I did, but I don't know for sure. I'd like to follow along again to keep me organizing, albeit slowly. You know what, Nancy? I don't know if there's a way for you to check, but if you email, if you email customer service at thescraprack.com, Joanna and I are going to have a phone conference tomorrow, and one of the things we're going to talk about is helping people to find out those kinds of things. So if you email Joanna at customer service at thescraprack.com, we will use you as an example for how to search and find out that kind of information. So please send the email, and we'll use you as our example tomorrow. and then we'll get back to you and let you know. Kathleen says, you have some videos that are webinars for sale $1.99. Are they the same as what you download the day after the webinars? They are, Kathleen, and they're just up there because some people, I know you can't download or don't know how to download or don't have the software to download things off YouTube or wherever they are, and so they're just up there available on the website, mainly for people who want to download something and keep it for later. But they are the same ones as you can also watch for free. They're just on there for people who want something they can keep forever. Now, the ones from the series, we take them down when the new series starts, and then we put up the new series one. So there's almost always something available on the website as well. And the other thing is, some people, the reason they do it, the reason they pay the $2 and download it is because then they can do it watch it in their car if they're on a road trip, or if they're sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick up their kids from soccer or whatever it is. It makes it really easy to watch it on your iPod or your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever it is. So it's kind of a convenient thing to be able to download it, but they are the same. There's some on there that aren't the same. We're working on some new and different things. Now, to be honest with you, I will always present information at least once for free. So like there's a download right now for magazine article idea storage that's a video, but I'm going to do that as a webinar on the 22nd for free. So you can always jump in when those posts are up for free as well. So it's always out there. The information is always out there. It's more for people who want to have it for other reasons. Melinda says thanks. Carla says, would clamshells also be CD cases that you don't use for your CDs? Yes, CD cases work for unmounted rubber stamps, but they're too thin for woodblock stamps or for things like inks or chalks or whatever, but a very similar concept. Ella says, you can buy clamshells from Stampin' Up! Also. So if you have a Stampin' Up! Rep, Ella says they sell the clamshells separately. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Rep, that might be a good reason to find one and get yourself addicted to one more thing. Sandra Lewis says, you were just talking about downloading the webinar. Where do I go for these downloads? I can't seem to find it. The downloads are on the website, and I was going to try this last time. Let's see. I'm going to switch over here, and I'm going to see if I can open our website, and you guys can see it, and then I can show you. And I was going to try this last time. So let's see. So if you want to purchase the downloads, you just click on this. Now, can someone tell me, can you respond here in the question box? Can you see the website up on my screen, or did your screen go black? That's really the question. I'm not sure that you can actually see. Yeah, okay, you can see it. Okay, good. Yay, look. Okay, so on the website, right here where it says Purchase Video Audio Downloads, you can click on that, and then there are the different ones that are for sale. And these are the ones at the bottom that are just the challenges from the webinar. So you can see they all look the same or whatever. And so then the top three are other ones. And like even if you go to this one about about your magazines, you can download it if you want to have it now. And if you want to be part of the webinar on it, you can see right here where it says kind of this topic will also be featured in a standalone webinar. And so when you click here, then that's going to take you to the registration page for that one. So, and that's free also. But if you want to have it for your iPod to listen to later or on your phone or whatever, you can download it as well. To sign up for the summer challenge, if you go over here to the 2012 Spring Cleaning Get Organized Challenge block and you click on that, then you can see this little thing right here. This series is almost over. And when you click on that one, it's going to take you to the information about the summer series, the dates, and you can click right here on Need to Register. And then you can register for Overwhelmed to Organize Summer Challenge Series there. So if those of you who are looking or are wondering if we're going to be in a town near you, Scrap Rack Roadshow right over here is going to give you our show schedule, so you can click on that. Now here's something a lot of people don't know. If you bought something from the Scrap Rack website and you gave yourself a login and a password, now, there's nothing about that does anything weird. We're not tracking anything weird. What that does for you is allow you to use the My Account tab. And when you click on the My Account tab, then you can go to your past orders or to modify account. But past orders is also going to link you up with things you've ordered in the past, and tracking numbers. So if you didn't get your tracking number because it ended up in your spam folder or whatever, now this only works if you used a login and password, or if you do what's called register when you use the website. So if you haven't done that when you're using the website, then you might want to go ahead and do that. So you have access to that information easily. On this button right here, Project Organization, that's going to take you to the Project Organization page. So if you want to really focus in on one particular thing, I'm just posting little shorts. Some are videos and some are articles about different things on this page. So if you want to get more details on photos or more details on paper, this is a resource to really dig into something, really get into it as for the nitty-gritty details or the baby steps, whatever you want to call it. So. And then right here, the Learn tab, that's where there are a whole bunch of other different articles and stuff. And this page is going to be redone pretty soon, but it'll just give you a bunch of different articles and some links to videos and that kind of thing. So it's all there if you need it. And there's the photo gallery here. So if you want to see other scrap racks in use, how people use them, there, if you haven't visited the photo gallery, there's all kinds of cool pictures there of different people's scrap rack setups. Now, one of the things I talk about is my room at the office, and so if you click on this picture right here, it brings up a little what's happening in Tiffany's studio. Well, what that really is how we set up that room. So it really takes you through the empty room and pulling in the furniture tight to make a big room into a smaller room, and taking the doors off the cabinets and painting. And my mother's little dog PJ here came to visit us. Now, any of the pictures that you click on, if you just click on the picture, you're going to get the bigger version of it. So if you want to see more details of it, you can just click on that picture, and it'll bring up a bigger picture. So, oops, I don't want to close all tabs. No. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And you, if you have questions about the website, I didn't realize I could do that on there. So maybe the next couple of webinars that we do, I'll kind of tour people around so that it's easy to find things. So it looks like that's the end of the question panel for today. If anybody has other questions, I'm happy to answer those. If not, I think that I'm ready to turn you loose to start organizing your inks and chalks and pens and all your other wonderful coloring things. Now remember that you, if you're looking for those lists, you might want to stop at the Facebook page first, save yourself some work, and see what's already available for downloading or copying off the Facebook page on the docs form there. Now, if you go to the Facebook page and you can't find it, just put a post up on the Facebook page that says, hey, somebody help me find the docs. I'm kind of a Facebook, what my kids call a noob, I guess. I use Facebook, but I'm not proficient at it at all, so I'm constantly calling my sons to say, hey, how do I do this on Facebook, or where is this on Facebook, or whatever. So if you don't have teenagers to help you, just put up a post and one of the other ladies will help you. So, all right, gals. Oh, we have one more question popping up here. If we make a sheet with our stamps, where does it go in the scrap rack? In themes. It goes in whatever theme it belongs in. So you are going to make a sheet of all your stamps for sports, and they're going to go in the sports section, and then you're going to make another sheet of all your stamps for Christmas, and that's going to go in the Christmas section, or whatever it is, so that when you're actually working on that particular event or holiday or whatever, when you flip to Christmas, you see all the Christmas stamps that you have, and they're all numbered, and you know exactly what drawer or box or bin or clamshell or however you have them organized to go to actually find them. So I hope that helps. Lots of details on that too on the website and also in last week's webinar. So Sandra says, thanks, Tiffany. I'm going to spend a bunch of time tonight looking at the website and checking out Facebook. I'm so glad. There's so much information on Facebook. I mean, there's a ton of information on the website too, but there's a lot of information on Facebook. And Joanna says, put it where you'll look for it. That's a great clue. Also, I don't know how many of you are on board tonight who bought a scrap rack for the first time or bought your first scrap rack during the sale today, but I'm going to try and put together a little video over the next week called Getting to Know Your Scrap Rack. There are a few things that people do, a few common mistakes when setting it up, and some tips and tricks. All of them are already on the website, but I'm going to try and do just a particular new owner orientation, I guess we'll call it for people. So if you did just buy your first scrap rack, watch for an email about that, or it'll be posted on the website or something. I'm trying not to bombard people with emails too much. Seems like I've sent a lot of them out recently, so it may just get posted on the website. But I'll put a link up on Facebook as well, and I'll tweet about it. How about that? So if you're not following on Twitter, sign up for Twitter. You'll know when things are going on. Let's see. Sandra says, I want to check out already made templates to organize my ink pads. Yes, definitely do. Linda says, thank you. You're so welcome. Desiree says, I have two computers on, one listening to you and the other going through the site. Good job. Way to multitask, Desiree. And Barb says, would really appreciate that I would be a noob. I know I'm a noob too about Facebook. It's tragic but true, I guess. So, all right, ladies, have a great week. Have a productive week, and have a wonderful Mother's Day. All of you who will be celebrating Mother's Day next Sunday. I know it seems like it's a whole week away, but I won't see you till after Mother's Day. So have a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day, and I will see you next, or I will talk to you, I guess, next Monday night for our final webinar in this challenge. Have a great night. And thank you for all the wishes to have a wonderful Mother's Day. I will certainly, I have already am forcing my children to dress nice and take me out to brunch on Sunday, but they're going to spend the rest of the week doing chores around the house, which I'm sure they're very excited about. So all of you, happy Mother's Day to you, and I will talk to you on Monday next week.